Good, good, good. How's everybody this fine Monday?
Doing good.
Yeah, awesome. Good. Everybody had a good day
Yes.
for the most part, right? It's almost done. We don't want to rush time, but we do sometimes. We're
Needs to slow
never
down
happy.
a bit.
What's that?
I said it needs to slow down a bit. It seems like
I know it does.
like what happened
Yes,
to April.
I know. Can you believe it? This is next Monday will be May 1st.
Yikes.
Do you guys remember? I remember as a little girl, May Day, and you go and you put May baskets on your neighbors. You knock on the door or ring their doorbell and you put like a May basket. Did you guys ever do that? Yeah.
Yes.
That doesn't happen.
Never did it, but I heard of it.
Ah. Yeah, I don't know. I think everybody's afraid to open their doors now. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you guys are here. It's a really good topic. I had a different topic in mind, but I was talking to Lori and we were talking about as we get older, and this is not like a brand new thing, right? Our balance, coordination, our proprioception, how we feel things changes, or it's not like it used to be, right? And she just was out hiking or doing something and she stepped off and twisted her ankle. In fact, she just texted me and she's got a metatarsal that's fractured, so she has to wear a boot now for 4 weeks. I was like, oh no. So thought, you know what, if she's struggling, I think it's a really a good topic to talk about. So
I don't know how to use I literally thought you were in your room. With your room. Okay.
No worries. So what I want to do to start this off is I'm going to share my screen again, because I really think it helps to have that up. And so everybody can see that okay?
Yep.
Yeah, good. So it's, balance, control, coordination, and then there's something called proprioception. And that's like you want to sense and freely move your body, right? And be aware of going from gravel to dirt to maybe stones, like you feel the difference between grass, you feel the difference between cement, whether you have shoes on or whether you don't. And so it can worsen with age, it can worsen with injuries. So like for Lori, and I'm sure some of you can relate, if you have previous injuries, whether it's your feet or your hip or your anything like that, your back, it can make that sense of feeling a little bit different. And then your risk of more injury or falls can go up. And so if we're aware of that, and there's some things that we can do to help us with that. So which can lower your risk for injury and improve like your levels of fitness. And so proprioception is, like I said, it's your ability to sense movements, locations, and actions. So having that spatial awareness and balance, just like if you're driving your car and just having, now we have the cars that the lights go on if there's a car that's going by us or something going behind us, but I still find myself always looking and then using my mirror versus the box in front or the screen in front of me. And I think it's just because that's how I learned, but I also know that, technology can fail. And so I always want to look, but that's kind of that proprioception. So, and that our nervous system, really controls that. So there's also soft tissues that work and proprioceptors that we have but as we get older, that stuff kind of declines a little bit. But there are some things, and I'll get into that we can do to help with that. So like if you're out hiking like Lori was, and I'm using her just because I talked to her today, there's holes, rocks, leaves, all those kinds of different things. There's an animal that runs in front of you, that kind of stuff, and just being really, really aware of that. And your body should be able to adjust for those changes in where you're walking. So yes, you can have neurological diseases that may inhibit that, and things like in chronic injuries like neck injuries and things like that. So, but how is that related to your balance? So your balance is really having that center of gravity over a base of support. Typically you're standing, you know, 2 legs, that kind of thing. And so anytime that you're trying to balance, you're going down and you're lunging, or you're holding 1 foot up, or you're doing a single leg deadlift, you know, it's that balance, right? And they are related. So balance actually has other inputs. So it's the vestibular system, which is like your ears, you know, motion, equilibrium, and spatial orientation, your vision. And then the proprioception is that feel or that touch. And so those are the things that signal your brain to figure out what's going on. And it happens really quick. It's not like your brain is going, what is that? And, you know, minutes go by, right? It happens really, really quick. And so your body, so your mind is telling your body needs to react right away. So if there's a curb, you need to step down or step up. If you're getting in a car, you've got to lift your leg, you know, it happens really, really quick. And so if there's something wrong with either one of those parts, it doesn't happen as quick. So what can we do about it? And balance is important, because as we get older, the risk of falling, I think it's 65 and older, as you get older, your chances of falling increase by like 35%. You know, and that's a lot. That's hip fractures, knee fractures, elbows, shoulders, all of those kinds of things. So, or if you're lifting things, like if you have a job or you're doing something at home and you're moving and you're trying to lift things, laundry basket, going up and down the steps, or you've maybe had too many cocktails and you're walking and you're not walking very well. Does that happen to anybody?
No.
Nobody's going to admit that. Yeah. No, Kathy's like, never. No. So it's really all those things that affect our balance and our awareness of what's going on. So it's just, it's a good thing to review and think about. Yes, kids, you know, when you watch their balance and stuff, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, and as we get older, we don't have that. We lose that a little bit. Oops, I don't mean to be making you guys dizzy here with this.
Mhm.
So what are some things that we can do? So there are some exercises that we can do, and I will share this with all of you. And this is the name of the exercise or movement, if you will. And then I have the YouTube video for all of you to look at, that you can see what that looks like. So there's this leg balance test, and you shift your weight onto one. So you're actually on 1 foot. Now you're not raising your knee up really high, but it's like standing on 1 foot for 20 seconds or longer, and then standing on another without holding on to something, you know, flat footed. And you don't, when you think you're like, oh, that's easy, I can do it, but just do it. You'll be surprised. You'll be like, oh boy. Right. And Kathy's like, yeah, it is. It's not as easy as it looks, right?
It's not.
It isn't. And so in my gym, I have a group of women, they're in their 60s and 70s, and we do a lot of these kinds of exercises, and it really helps them a lot. And they're doing really, really well. Another one is this 1 leg 3-way kick. And so you're standing on both, but you lift one up, you kick out and you bring it back, and then you kick out to the side and you bring it back, and then you kind of kick back and you bring it back. And so you're not doing it that quick. You're kind of like holding it, and then you put it down, and then you go off to the side and you hold it, and you put your foot down, and then you go behind you. And you want to do each side a couple different times. So that's a really good one. Cone pickups. Cone pickups are a lot like single leg deadlifts. So if I start, maybe it doesn't want to do this for me today, but these all have videos for you. Reverse lunges. Now, if you can't do reverse lunges or your knees are bothering you, you might just skip this one. I have 10 different exercises that can help. Bird dogs are another one, on your hands and knees, kind of like tabletop position, and you alternate one arm, opposite leg. and you do that. That helps with core. So a lot of these, it's not just, it's balance, but it's, you get your balance from not only your brain, but your core as well. The tree pose, which is a yoga pose. Then there's a tightrope walk. This is the sobriety walk, I call it, where it's kind of heel toe, and you keep going and then you go backwards. Try that. And with, sober, right? Really, really interesting. And you want to repeat that a couple times. There's these toe taps. There's a flamingo stand. So again, it's that whole balance. And, when you're starting out, if you need to have like a chair next to you, just, even if you touch it, it will help a lot. So, sumo squat to one leg, the videos will show you that. So there's 10 exercises here. So I'll send this out to all of you. I think that'll be, something that you guys can do. You don't have to do it every day, a couple times a week. It'll really, really help. You don't have to do all 10 of them, even pick 3 of them and do them. And then maybe do 3 different ones the next day and just kind of change it up a little bit. I think that'll really, really help that balance and core, because we all, even though let's say we feel like we're in great shape, you could always do better with your balance. And just that whole mind-body connection. And, especially, and you guys can relate to this too, in menopause, you get that kind of, what's the word I want to use? Kind of fuzziness in your head, like not clear. I mean, not that you're, I don't know, things are a blur. I can't think of the right word.
Brain fog?
What's that?
Brain fog?
Yes, that's it. Where it's just like, what is going on with me? And I think I know doing balance work is helpful. Yeah, brain fog. Have you guys ever had brain fog?
Daily.
Daily, yeah, right. You're putting things in the refrigerator that don't belong there, and oh man, all that kind of stuff. So, and that's normal for what we're going through, and that does clear up. I mean, it does get better, but why not help your brain and your mind and your body all try and work together? So, just some simple exercises to help with that, and just kind of also realizing that it's kind of a normal thing for us to have happen to us. It's not like, oh my God, we're getting old. We gotta sit in the rocking chair now. But can you think about people, or maybe grandparents that they retire and that's what they do? They watch TV and they sit and they get old quickly. So, and this is the reason why, if you're not using it, you're going to lose it. And that's your brain, your body, your mind, all of that. So it's super important. Yes, healthy foods are important and exercise, but just really taking that time. Yoga is really good too. Taking that time to slow down and do some of that balance work. So, we don't fall and hurt ourselves, and, accidents happen. Let's do our best to prevent them so we don't end up like Lori, right, Lori?
Yeah, I'm driving in my car right now, but yes, indeed, I've got a fractured 5th metatarsal.
Yeah. So thank you for this great topic. I thought this was perfect.
I'm glad I could help you. See, I'm looking at the bright side of everything, right?
You are. You got to, and you do have that great attitude, because it could happen to any one of us, and you just have to move on. You're not the only one. I have another lady, Amber. She was on vacation and she actually broke the phallus, or her heel. So she's in a boot too. So you guys can't be doing that anymore. Be careful out there. But you're out doing things that are fun, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, really. So, so, I mean, it happens. It's not like, accidents happen. I'm very accident prone too myself. So, anyway, hopefully that was helpful. I'll send that. I'll put that in the messages, in your messages in Trainerize too. And if any of you can't open it, let me know. And I can always send it to your personal email as well, so that you have it. I think it's just really good to have some other resources available to you. So, but I do want to open it up to any questions you guys have. It could be about this topic. It could be about anything. Does anybody have anything?
I just feel kind of silly lifting today in my bare feet instead of my
Yeah.
shoes.
Did you forget your shoes or you wanted to be flatter?
No, I can't claim brain fog. They were right there. I took them off. I just feel like I can screw my feet into the floor better.
Yes.
I had socks on, but
Right.
yeah, but it's funny that you say that because I actually thought of that while I was doing sumo squats with a 50-pound dumbbell, thinking, oh, if I dropped this on my foot, that would hurt.
Mhm, mhm. So
I think it hurt even with shoes.
Yeah, I think you're
yeah.
right.
Right. 50 pounds is 50 pounds, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So the thought is when you're lifting like deadlifts or doing heavy barbell squats is to be more flat footed so that you can kind of grab the floor with your toes, with your feet.
Yep.
You can, like my shoes are really flat and I feel like I can grip, but sometimes you just want that extra. Some people
Yeah.
are actually barefoot.
Yeah. If I had
too.
socks on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched a guy at the gym doing that the other day, and I'm working out. I'm like, oh, that would hurt.
Yeah.
Hang on
why-
tight.
Yeah, that's why we all sign liability waivers when we go into a gym, because if we
Right.
drop something, we can't
I
blame
didn't.
them. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a perfect, people do that all the time. I tend to wear my shoes, but everybody's a little bit different. But when you first start out to do that, to feel what you're doing, it's helpful to do that with anything like that. But yeah, but you must be careful too. So
Yeah.
yes. What else do people have here? Anybody? It doesn't have to be on this subject necessarily. You're quiet. Everybody's quiet. Everybody's sleepy.
I just don't want to
Mhm.
hog the whole thing. I got stuff, but I just
Well,
don't want.
keep talking. It might spur somebody else to ask a question.
My question was it last week about water? Yeah, well, a water pill. I need to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they took me off the one that was used for my blood pressure.
Oh.
And in 2 weeks, I've put on close to 3 pounds and I
Oh.
know that it's not food and I've
Mhm.
hit all of my goals,
Yeah.
and my food. So it's gotta be the other.
Yeah. So you might need that.
Yeah.
What were you taking? What was it?
It was that hydrochlorothiazide.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Maybe
but
a lower dose. Maybe it wouldn't have to be as much.
yeah, she said it's what I'm on now. I can take, it's safe to take a over-the-counter water pill. I just have to go get one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's not unheard of either. And based on your history and stuff, that's not a bad thing to do. Yeah, that'll help too. Less puffy.
yeah,
Yeah. No problem.
that's, you learn to pay attention to your body through this whole thing, whether you're on medications or they put you on one or you take you off something or they switch it to something else. You're have a tendency, which is good, to pay more attention to how your body reacts to it, where before maybe it would just kind of slip by and you would, foo it off and say,
Right.
It's just coincidence.
Right.
But now,
Mm-hmm. And when you have a history of some heart things going on or family history, sometimes you need those medications. And, just like I'm watching my cholesterol and my blood sugar because my dad has high cholesterol and they're watching his sugars too. And so I do that too, even though I'm like eat, exercise, all the same things that we all do. Sometimes some of those things you just have to deal with. But that doesn't mean that you eat like crap and don't exercise because of it. You just don't want it to get worse. And so nothing wrong with that. So, and what that's telling you is you just need that extra support. There's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah, but you're certainly living a healthy lifestyle. So imagine if you weren't.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, could be worse.
Well, I knew something was going on because I got the luggage back under this one eye and it always shows up under this eye first.
Yeah, and you know yourself, so you know those
Yeah.
signs. Yeah.
That's been going on for about a week and a half. And I said, here we go. you know.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
3 things that happen. This happens first.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that around my belly button that I was looking really pudgy and bloated.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, I haven't been having anything that I shouldn't be having. And so that was kind of weird. And then believe it or not, my left foot, my plantar fasciitis in my left foot will start to act up.
Oh, probably
From
from
water
the
retention
water. Yeah. It's
and
irritating.
inflammation. Yep.
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
Weird, huh? So you learn your body through this whole thing.
You do.
Learn to pay attention to it.
Don't you? Yeah. Like, oh boy, I need my sleep. And I mean, just all of it together. And when you're not paying attention, you know, you don't know, but oh, well, now you know, right?
Yes,
So,
I do. And now I'm going to be quiet, let somebody else talk.
all right, who's next? Come on. Somebody's
Speaking of
yes.
speaking of puffiness, we'll go back several weeks. So when we were talking about skincare,
Oh, yeah.
so I always used Clinique.
Okay.
Don't know
yeah.
why, it's supposed to work, it's super great because it costs a lot of money. But nothing was working. But I think, Jody, it was you talked about the Ordinary.
Yeah.
So I got some of that, the
Mhm.
caffeine, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, the puffiness and everything under my eyes.
Yep.
I've only been using it for a week.
Yeah. It's
And I'm
amazing.
like,
Isn't it?
so what was it, like $19 versus
Yeah.
50,
Oh,
60?
oh, interesting.
And I'm like,
Very affordable.
holy mackerel. So guess where Clinique's going? In the trash. But I was amazed because I was looking at it today and I went, oh, I mean, because usually
Wow.
I've got these huge crevice here
Mhm.
and all this puff. Oh, it's awesome.
So that is so that or it's just called Ordinary or The Ordinary.
The Ordinary.
Ordinary. Is that a okay. I know a lot of that stuff's dermatologist tested. Is that medical grade skincare or
No,
no? Okay. I'm just
No.
curious.
Nope.
Yeah.
nope. It's just an entire line of products, company called The Ordinary.
Yeah.
It's got the caffeine for, under the eyes. It's got niacinamide. It's got hyaluronic acid. It's got retinol. I mean, you can, and it's very affordable because it's just a plain white label with black lettering. You're not
Right.
paying for all the fancy stuff,
Yeah.
Right.
and it works.
Yeah. And it comes in a box. It doesn't come in a case that's linen lined with a bow
Right.
on and
Right. Just a little box and there you go.
It is, yeah. And you can get it on Amazon too if you
Right.
want as well.
Right.
So,
Huh. That's
Ah.
a great point. Yeah. We could talk about skincare products and stuff like that. I actually have when I was a nurse manager for one of the ICUs here in Milwaukee, she was an employee of mine, and we've always kind of kept in touch on Facebook like everybody else. Well, she's a nurse practitioner and she still works for that healthcare system. But she's also going out on her own and she's going to be doing, not an esthetician, but she's going to be doing like the Botox and the fillers.
okay.
But she talks a lot about skincare and chemical peels and all that. So I'm going to have her on sometime so that we can pick her brain. And so she's got a space and everything. And she's going to be starting, I think, May 1st. She's going to keep her job where she is now until she can get in
Transition
enough.
over.
Yeah. So
Sure.
that's one of my goals is to have her on. And then the other thing that I'm going to do, and I'm super excited about this, is hormone replacement therapy. It's a gentleman that I go to, but also used to refer people to, and he wants to, and he's going to be really, really good at the science behind menopause. Like what is all going on and what can we do to control what's happening with us? And everybody's going to be a little bit different based on, do you have your ovaries? Are you still getting your period? Where are you at in this whole menopausal thing? And he's a guy, but he gets it. And he's a physician's assistant and worked in healthcare, and then had stepped away to work with hormone replacement therapy. And he works with women and he works with men. And he just has this knack of explaining things so well, and why your thyroid is doing what it's doing, and how can we watch that. Why is your blood sugar up even though you were fasting? But it could be this, and this could be your kidney function, your liver function. And as a nurse, I know all that, but to explain it all, that makes sense. And then you're able to ask questions. I mean, he's just fantastic. So those are two things that I'm working on that will help us. And then you guys can ask questions and get to know them. And I mean, there's contradictions to hormone replacement therapy, but something that happened to you in your 20s and now we're in our 50s doesn't mean that you can't do something. Like, I had blood clots with my second pregnancy, but that doesn't mean that I can't be on hormone replacement therapy. That could have been a pregnancy related issue, not a blood clotting or coagulopathy issue. So real interesting. So I'm kind of excited I am super excited, because I think that would be really, really good for all of us, because I can be on the phone with him. I talked to him for 45 minutes and he was talking about, if you have rheumatoid arthritis, there's peptides now that are out and available that have been deemed okay by the FDA to be released, that can help reduce the inflammation by working on these receptors and those receptors, and then not even having to take all these pharmacological expensive medications that also work on every other cell in your body too. And kind of like chemotherapy, it kind of works, it's not good for your healthy cells either. So he's just phenomenal. And I have 2 clients that have rheumatoid arthritis that struggle with that too. So to just get that perspective. So, I mean, he's just so smart. And
yeah, that's one of those things that I was talking to you about, that my most recent visit to my new physician's assistant that I'm seeing. And that's she's going to test my hormone levels. And, we have the option, because nobody ever offered it to me as far as hormone replacement therapy. And then I went, she said, but there's also the creams too. That it's a topical, and it's made, put together, the recipe, whatever, specifically for my levels. And even though the insurance doesn't cover it, she said it usually runs maybe $40 or $50 a month. And I was more inclined to try that than another pill.
yes. Yeah.
If that's what it, comes down to. I would rather, give that a go, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, it's so different from when our parents like our moms were going through menopause, because there wasn't a lot of research out there. There wasn't a special women's health clinic, all this kind of stuff. And so when my mom said, when I started to get hot flashes, she's like, "Oh, Diana, you're going to have those for 17 years, just like I did." And I'm like looking at her going, "Oh, no, I'm not. You're crazy." And so we don't have to suffer. That's just like when you had kids and epidurals were only for if you were in labor forever, right? You'd get an epidural. Now it's like everybody gets an epidural. Well, why should we make our daughters suffer just because we did? Like that whole kind of like, why would we want to do that? So it's just, as things evolve and we learn more about our bodies and the cells and how they generate and regenerate, and it's just, to me, it's phenomenal. So
do we have many, I don't know, people under the age of, 40 in this group that would benefit from just discussing like perimenopause?
Yeah.
Because that is something that just blows my mind, that it's just now starting to become more vocal.
Certainly we could talk about it, because he'll probably, his name is Chris Neal. He could probably take it from where it starts to, me, I can speak my postmenopausal, and how do you deal with each stage? Definitely. And then the video I'm going to save and use because I think it'll benefit so many people. I mean, I know enough to talk about it and to know what's available and how to deal with it from the nutrition and the fitness standpoint. But just the way he explains about the whole science and what your body is going through, and then, okay, so I had a hysterectomy really young, but I still had my ovaries, how is my body going to be different than someone who had a total hysterectomy in their 20s like I did? And it's all, or someone who's going through cancer and goes into early menopause because of the medications, how does that affect each woman and the differences too? So
in how different medications affect you on a daily basis. Because I had one that they put me on when I was 30. When I started into the perimenopause, I would have my period for a week and I wouldn't have it for a week, and then I'd have it for a week and then I wouldn't. So I was literally up and down. Those hormones were all over the place. And he put me on this medroxyprogesterone for 10 days out of the month, and it turned me into a lunatic. I was either sobbing at work in the corner for no reason, seriously, no reason, or I was irate. And my kids can tell you that it was like, the two-headed terrible. She says the two-headed monster came home from work and I was throwing things through the house, and that is not me.
Okay.
And they remember it. That she just said she was mean. I was. That was mean. So I just called the doctor and I said, I can't this. And they were trying to foo-foo me, on the phone. And finally I just said to her, listen, I don't know how else to put this to you to make you understand. I don't own a weapon, but I am considering purchasing one. And that doctor got on the phone. He said, stop taking the medication. So it's kind of like, well, if you knew that this might happen, why didn't you tell me to be aware of this? I thought I was going bananas.
Oh, does anybody else have these stories? Can you relate to any of that or this? Right?
It's awful.
It is. It is. I remember being put on, I had a lot of problems with ovarian cysts. Oh, so many problems. And I don't know, one time I was on birth control pill to help, but I just reacted to estrogen. Like I totally can relate, Jody. I felt like my skin, my skin was crawling. Like I just was like, and couldn't do it. Like I could not do any of that supplementation at all. Just could not. And so now that's years ago and things have changed or the way the medications are prepared and how you can use them. And this was through a birth control pill. And even those have changed over the years.
Yeah.
So I think it's always beneficial for us at our age to have a hormone panel and just kind of see where we're at. And then, because that can change drastically for us just from, 1 week to the next. So I think you guys will find it really interesting and very helpful.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And just somebody who can explain it just so easy. Yeah, he's great. He's great. So Laura, how are you? Any questions, comments?
Doing pretty well, actually. I love this past weekend. It was actually spring here.
Yes.
It was so nice to have all the windows open and to go for a long walk. It just made my mood better. It just was great. So I had really loved this past weekend and looking forward to getting spring here in Wisconsin again.
I know. I am too. Saturday was beautiful here.
Yeah.
I heard people complaining it was too hot, and I am like, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Yes, it was crazy. It was so good. I agree. It was great. It was great. What about Hillary?
I'm doing great too.
Yeah.
No questions.
No questions. Awesome. And let's see, Christine, I know you and I talked earlier, but anything for the group?
No, I just finished week 3, I guess, and it's going pretty well.
Yes.
I'm in desperate need of sunshine, so that would help me a lot. And then I remember that I don't live in Western North Dakota and I feel pretty darn good. So they have feet of snow. So
Yes.
I have friends out there and it's
Oh.
bad. So that helps keep a little perspective, I guess.
Yes, it does. Yes.
But sunshine.
Yeah.
I do have a happy light that I've been using. So
Good.
even still.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Whatever works for here.
Mhm.
So true. Oh yeah, to be in North Dakota. Oh, without no. No.
Yeah. No, thanks.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. I love that. Love that. And that's Jen, right? iPhone Jen. No, I think that's Jen. Jennifer, right? Can you hear me? I just see iPhone for your name, so I'm not quite sure.
Was it Kristen?
Or no. Lori, do you have anything for us?
Where do I begin? No, I'm keeping my chin up, and I've got my faith and my hope and my resiliency, and I'm grateful for all of that. I'm looking forward to that speaker. I went through breast cancer when I was 45, and that threw me into menopause. The type of cancer I had was progesterone and estrogen positive, and it affects you, when you go through something like that at every level,
Yes.
with your relationship with your husband, etc.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is when I ask the physician, as far as, is there anything that I can take to help me, with, lubrication or that desire, she refers me to the oncologist, and then the oncologist refers me to the gynecologist. And I've had a total hysterectomy with my ovaries removed. And I just got frustrated. It's like, you know what, this is going to be a ping pong game, and it's all out of pocket every appointment until I get to my deductible. And then you kind of shut down and say, well,
Right.
I'm not going to do it. So I'm really looking forward to that speaker. And
Yes.
if there's a way you can let us know when he's going to be, so I don't schedule myself to work.
Yes. No, I would put it out as an event, and then you guys would register. I mean, it's going to be free, but it would be an event, and then we know how many people were going to attend. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. No, that sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And then also, guys, if it's something that, you think about hormone replacement therapy, if it's something you're interested in, I do work with Chris, and his office can reach out and get you set up for like an initial consultation where you just talk. It's free and kind of go through that. If you want to wait to see what's, how he talks and how he is, you can certainly do that too. But just know that I have access to him. He's great. And I see him, and I have lots of other people that do too. So that's.
Will he come to Delaware?
What's that?
Will he come down to Delaware?
Actually, he does everything by phone. Oh, that way. Yeah. Yeah. He's good looking too. But honestly, he does phone consult, and then anything like that he recommends, it's totally your choice. He's not like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. You don't have to do anything. He just explains things so well and gives you options. If you want to think about what he says, a lot of times he'll want to see some lab work, and you just have a lab panel done, and it's much cheaper to go through him than even your regular physician, because a lot of times that stuff's not covered by insurance. Right. So just a lot of, and then anything that you do, like let's say you go on progesterone or whatever it is, it just gets shipped to your house. They have a compounding pharmacy that they deal with. So everything's real legit with him. It's nothing that's, some of these companies, you just wonder, how legit are they? And it, like the new mail and all these versions of putting these pebbles inside, these little, whatever it is, and they inject them into your skin. that's really hard to control, that absorption rate, and what does that do? So there's just so many different things out there that I'm not sure of, but I can really attest to him and his practice. It's really good. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Well, thanks for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is Kristen, isn't it? Is that Kristen? Is that you?
The one that
You
said
have to
thanks for that is Lori.
Yeah, I know that's Lori. And then I see someone by the name, but I think it's Kristen. I think Jody, you were right. Can you unmute?
Okay.
There she is.
There she
I was
is.
calling you Jen because I couldn't see because you have these kids crawling all over you.
Yeah, all day.
How are you?
Just turned 3, so she had a little party and she wants me to play with everything.
Right.
So
Right. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was nice out yesterday because I was getting like that wintry depression,
Yes.
like everything's
Yes.
so gray.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but now I just can't wait to get out and start walking.
Yeah, that always is good for the mindset.
I know I see Jody walking. I'm like, oh my God, I should be with her.
Yeah.
And then when Jody said, I see you're not like doing much on your watch. And I'm like, notice. So, and that pushed me. I was like, I gotta get busy, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize, how stagnant, like I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
I felt like I was, but I honestly really wasn't, just being at home, I gotta get out there and do things. So.
Yes, you do. And grab Jody. She's a good one for you. She keep you moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know where to find me.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Especially as it is getting nicer out too, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have any like questions for me at all?
Oh, not really. I just need a good shove.
Mommy, put this by this.
Hold on.
I'm gonna put this by this.
You
But
need a
no,
good
not,
what?
not yet. I have been buying better foods for me and my girls.
Okay.
And I was just having trouble with what do you call it? Meal prepping for the next day.
Okay.
I'm just like, what is, I don't know. I want to eat a lot, but I don't. I've been trying to like eat my meal and stop halfway and give myself like 10 minutes so it can hit bottom here.
Right.
And that's helped a lot because before I was eating until I would be like stuffed. Now I need a nap.
Mommy, help me by this.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And preparing ahead of time, even putting it together, even if it's half of what splitting that up into a couple different meals. A lot of times we think we have to eat less than what we do. We need to actually eat more, but you can always split it up too. You can make a bigger meal into 2 meals.
yeah.
So like breakfast could be eating at 8 and 10, and then lunch could be lunch and 2, or noon and 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you need help with it, Kristen, give a yell. I could always come help you.
Okay.
I don't have any problem doing that.
Okay. I know, I'm such a bland, I don't cook with a lot of seasoning.
Mhm.
And my daughter was like, you have all these seasonings in your cupboard. Like, why you buy them? And so she made chicken one day and she just threw random things on it. And it was so good. And I was like, oh my God, this is easy. And
Yes.
I don't know. I can bake. I'm like a baker,
Sure.
but that's all the bad stuff,
Right.
And that's a downfall for me. Like I can make the pastries, the cakes, the, Jello desserts and stuff like that. But when it comes to cooking a home cooked meal, I only know like basic pastas, meatloaves, roast, anything with potatoes and carrots, like that kind of food I grew up on.
Yeah.
And just to do just like broccoli and like chickens and fishes, I'm just kind of like, I don't want that.
Yeah, and season, use the season like your daughter. Like there's a lot of times I don't follow a recipe. I just toss stuff on and hope it tastes good.
Right.
For the most part, it does.
Yeah. I was so used to going by the book, like Betty Crocker book, how much seasonings, and I was just like, what am I doing? And I've watched other people cook and they just throw this on, throw that on. And I'm oh,
little of this, a little of that.
I love garlic, so everything I have, like garlic, will come out of my pores.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love it. And it's
well, that's good for you too, and it tastes good. And yeah.
My kid said, why do you make chicken Alfredo? I used to make it a lot, and I was like, oops. I said they would be like, Mom, we smell like garlic for 3 days. The house smells like garlic. And I'm like, all right, I'll make it in the garage next time. No.
Yeah, yeah. And then in the Facebook group, the Elite Ladies Facebook group, there's a lot of people post different recipes in there. I know Jody's posted a ton in there.
Yeah.
Just some real simple, like my go-to is pepper, Himalayan pink salt, just a little bit of garlic powder. And then I love, it's called Everything But Bagel.
I love that.
It is
I just
like,
bought that.
Yeah.
oh man, I'm dumping that on all the time.
I put it on my vegetables. I put it
Yes.
on my chicken. It just gives it an extra little.
Yes,
Boom.
it works. It works on everything. So, yeah, so we'll give you lots of tips.
Oh, that's kind of
Yeah.
Yes. So good. Well, I'm glad you're here. Reach out to us anytime you need anything. Jody, reach out to her. She's right there by you.
Okay. I will.
Yes.
Yeah,
All
please do.
right.
All right. I'm going to mute. This one's yelling at me.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. No worries. Does anybody have anything else? No.
Mhm.
All good. Cool.
All good.
All right, I'm gonna let you know when Adrienne is the nurse practitioner with skin coming out, all that kind of stuff, and then Chris Neal, and I'll let you guys know when those events are gonna happen that way, and we'll make sure it's an hour so you can ask some questions and things like that. So I'm gonna try and do it on our Monday time, but if not, I'll let you guys know. So
Sounds good.
okay,
Wonderful.
Yep.
all right, you guys have a great rest of your night.
You too.
You too.
All right,
Sounds
thanks.
good. Good
Bye.
night, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good night, everyone.